Look at us. We have done it.
All right.
We've done it.
We have done it.
So
We've upgraded to our own boxes.
we have
Do you see it?
these.
Don't say
These-
we didn't do anything.
These
did
came out
something.
sick though, low key. These
I just
came
want
out
to
really
touch
sick.
them the whole time.
I know, it's crazy to think these took a month and a half to make.
I know.
Amazon's like 2 days shipping has spoiled the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what do you mean this is gonna take a month?
Also, I
that's-
will say these two, like we usually get a code for when we get a package. It never like notified me, so we almost didn't have these.
Oh, dude, my packages are really like every man for themselves. Like where I live in Silver Lake, the Amazon guy just throws it over the fence, and you hope you get home in time to like find it. I
You
like.
should, you should see the. I mean, it's a massive locker room, but it's almost like people don't care to grab their things. Like when
Oh, bro.
I mean, like
It's a mountain.
there is probably hundreds of packages in this room, and they're just sitting there. And I notice them because we get our mail. There's some that've been sitting there for a long time.
I think about that all the time. Like, do people just not care? Like, how many lost packages there are? How many, or like mail? I still get people's mail, and it's
Yeah.
such important mail. And I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here like,
Why?
yeah, like I swear I
Well, she-
definitely got someone's like birthday card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
she
just
got-
wondering, is, like,
she
was
got
this
s-
the card to like solve relationships?
And-
It's just
in
like
our-
sitting
in our,
in my mailbox.
in our last place, someone got their driver's license delivered to our house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see, I get that all the
See,
time.
That's like
Jury summons, everything. Have you guys ever
Do you
had a
go,
jury
though?
summons?
yeah.
Yeah, what'd you do to get out of
I
it?
can't
Because I
get
know
one.
you didn't go. Why can't? Oh, that's right. That's what a perk.
Well, I
Well,
mean, yeah.
What'd you do to get out of it?
I don't even
What'd you
know-
claim?
What did I claim?
Yeah, everyone's always trying to get out of jury duty.
I actually just
I would
did-
jump at
I-
the
I-
opportunity.
I did nothing. I just didn't
Really?
go. But the thing is, so this is the
you
thing.
just didn't go,
Yeah.
and nothing's happened.
Yeah. Well, it's because
How does that work?
Well-
Wait, maybe we shouldn't. I don't want him randomly getting taken. I'm sitting there drinking my cup of coffee.
You're
and then
like,
all of a
well,
sudden,
this is the
where's
last
Brandon?
episode of
Well-
Busybodies. That was a good
Oh my
time,
gosh.
everybody. What happened? I just didn't go. 5 hours later.
know.
Whoop whoop.
well, it's it's kind of funny. I want to say this story. I don't know if I should though.
Yeah, no, you
But-
should. You
Nightmares.
started it.
Nightmares.
All right. Well, it was kind of funny though because it was okay. So it was actually one of the first times I had ever voted. I'd never voted before,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Hey, good
So,
for you. Good for you.
I voted, and Kirsten was the one that was basically saying like, "Hey, you should vote. You've never voted before." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're right, sure." And then
I like the Canadian getting the American to vote.
And-
That's about right.
So I go to vote, and bro, I don't even know how
Who'd you
long
vote
it
for,
was, but
Kanye?
I voted, and shortly after I voted, I get the jury duty letter in the mail, bro. I
Well,
was
yeah,
like,
they found you.
me,
they
bro.
found your
They
ass, bro.
found me.
You're like, I haven't been voting my entire life just to avoid jury duty.
But
Priorities.
long story short, if someone serves you the jury duty letter, you have to go. But I
Right.
just got this in the mail, like every other mail. I just opened.
Is that how it works? If someone serves you the letter, you have to go? I didn't know.
Well, because if someone walks up to your door and serves you, you
He
have
looks
to
at me
sign
like I
it. You
know.
sign it, acknowledging
oh,
you got it.
Well, isn't okay? I thought
Acknowledging
that
you
was
got
for
it.
like divorce, like
no. That's
sub-
like if you get
okay.
it in the mail and
Uh-huh.
you've missed it several times,
Uh-huh.
eventually someone comes in person and makes you sign the acknowledgement.
Oh, okay.
And then you cannot miss that one.
Okay,
Because you
right, right.
acknowledge you signed it.
right,
yeah.
right. He's not here.
Wait, I didn't sign nothing.
Is this Brandon?
Oh,
no, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Have
I was
you?
always what? Ever
Got-
done jury duty?
Yeah.
No, I want to do jury duty, man. I think that
Yeah.
would be oh, funny story.
Well-
Speaking of, I just did CPR training as of
Wait,
recently.
I did see that. I did
Yeah,
see
so
that.
I can now
I-
save a life.
I
was
did
just-
that at 10.
I did not see that.
And fun fact, they teach you like the 120 like beats per minute is kind of what you want to press, right? I think it's like 180. Like I'm sitting here thinking about saving someone's life. But basically it's like compressions, 180 compressions, right? And you can also do that. Like the typical song they teach you is
No,
stay
you didn't, bro. That's why I'm laughing. I'm thinking of the
seriously,
Office episode.
Seriously, bro, that's what
Yeah.
they teach
If
you.
you-
It's
Tempo.
all
Yeah.
jokes, yeah. But also, fun fact, if you want to go against the grain,
Okay.
My Pony, or that song, that is also a song you can use. So you can be like, if you want it.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine trying to save somebody's life?
You can.
And
You
you're
start
just
singing
doing
that, yeah.
that.
And you can do it for like any age group. You can even, it could be a baby with your 2 fingers. If you want it, let's do it. You can do it. I swear.
You start humming in motion
Yes.
just to get the right.
And so the full circle here is the guy from Jury Duty was in my class, like the reality TV show Jury Duty. Like, did you guys watch that?
Oh,
I did not
but
know.
I've heard
Oh wow, okay, well that's
Was I there?
disappointing. He was in my class, and it was so funny, man, because like what a weird reality. So like if you guys didn't know
Yeah.
what Jury Duty was, Jury
Mhm,
Duty was this show on I think Freevee or like Freevee TV or whatever it was
Mhm.
called, and it's basically it's jury duty,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But the guy, there's one person in the jury that doesn't know he's on a reality TV show. Everyone
Oh.
else is in on it. Every single person,
Okay,
every
okay.
set, everywhere he is,
Yeah.
everyone, like from the judges to the defendants, the lawyers,
Oh,
the witnesses,
no.
everyone's in on it. He's the only person that isn't.
Yeah.
Right. And so the whole show is basically following this trial and him not knowing that everyone's in on it. So he finds out in the end that the entire thing was a lie. Thing is though, the show blew up. So now he's fake for, all intents and purposes. He's famous.
Yeah.
Right. So I was just thinking, like, how do you go about that? Must be such a weird way to be famous, right? Because he's
Mhm.
famous for being part of something he wasn't in on. And
Yeah,
now
yeah,
Is
that
that the
he's
yeah.
like,
Truman Show?
Huh?
Like the movie The Truman Show?
I
Is
mean,
it
in-
like
I
that?
mean, that's a whole different thing,
theory,
but that's
yeah.
in
that's
theory,
very similar.
It's
Yeah.
the same concept. It's this person going about their life not knowing that everyone else is in on it and it's being recorded. But what's so crazy is like the dude is famous now. Like he's been to plenty of events and everything like that, and he's still just the sweetest guy in the world. But I'm just thinking, like, what if that isn't in a nutshell what our fame is today, or
Yeah.
like what celebrity is
Is.
today? Like the dude is famous for being a part of something he wasn't aware that he was a part of, and now he's famous for that and is invited to all these things. Like I wonder what type of limbo that guy lives in. Like I
Yeah.
wonder, how do you approach something like that? You know what I mean? Like how do you even go about your life moving forward
Wait,
after
how did
that?
he say yes to jury duty then?
He literally, like, from the jump, he got it in the mail,
Okay.
right? Or he got like his jury duty summons or whatever.
Mhm.
He went to this establishment. It was a fake establishment. And like he was in there and all the people in there were actors and paid extras and everything. And he doesn't know. So he thought like, okay, he's signing up for jury duty. Now he's about to be part of a jury. Like that's how he, like they didn't
So, babe,
audition
you don't even
people.
know if you were getting auditioned for the show.
Yeah, you could have been that guy, man.
I could have.
You could have.
So
You could
honestly,
have been.
you
That could
probably
have been
didn't
your
do anything
claim
wrong.
to fame. You know what
and
I
then
mean?
I just would have
Yeah.
been that guy for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's how I
That guy
got
who went to
famous.
jury duty.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Like I don't even. And they were planning on doing like apparently they're planning on doing another season, but I don't know what they're gonna do now. Like I couldn't think of a concept in which I don't know. Like you would do that again now that the world knows. Like that was the first thing had ever been done like that ever,
Well, yeah, and no one would expect that because everyone thinks that they're obligated to go.
dude.
And so then they would just go and you would find yourself in so many places.
Exactly. You know, what would be a good one. I thought would be if they put it in like like medical school, like training.
Oh
right?
my
You're like a new doctor,
goodness.
and then like every day you get new patients in, and just the craziest shit's happening. And the doctor's like, yeah, I really don't know what to do here. What do you
And
think
it's
we
all
should do? And the guy's like, what? And the guy
Hey,
like
this
he
guy's
gives
life
this
is
guy
on your
too
hands.
much
This
stuff
guy-
and everything. And the
Oh
guy
my
like
goodness.
dies or whatever, and he's like, dude, you killed him. And the doctor's all like, he's like, it's okay, we have this happen all the time. We'll just push him in the back. And the guy's
And you're like, wait, what do you mean?
what's going
Yeah,
on?
go put them with the other people. Oh my gosh, bro. That would be such a wild one.
That would be so
Hey,
good.
If
That
you
almo-
guys know any
that-
types of things that someone should do a show like that, please.
well, that
comment
reminds me of the concept of punked.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Or dude, that's like if you were selling a house and the
Yeah.
person you're selling the house
Yeah.
to, it's like you're in on it, but they're not in on it. So
Yeah.
you just like you're like, oh, and then this is the master bedroom, and like a couple's in there asleep, and they like get up, they're like, we didn't know you were showing today, so they like go into the bathroom. You're like, don't
Yeah.
worry about them. This is essentially what the house would be like.
Well, you
They're
know,
just actors in the kitchen making a meal.
well,
Oh my God.
you guys actually want to hear a funny story that happened the other day?
It better be funny.
So,
It better be funny.
It was more awkward,
Mm,
but
mhm.
so I'm showing this rental. It's like it's a big rental, 30,000 a month, but it comes with 3 houses.
Right,
3 houses, large lot. They're all separated gates, and
30,000 a month
yeah, yeah,
for the 3 houses.
for all 3 houses, yeah. And then, but
What do you do?
But each
All
of the
3
yeah, each of the
houses?
3 houses are blocked off from the other ones. They have their own gate, their own yard, everything like that.
Okay, all right.
But my client is looking to get it to basically rent it all out and then run his business by hosting events, private stuff,
Cool.
everything like that. Long story
Cool.
short, we're walking through
Being
the
rich
house.
sounds dope.
First house, beautiful, vacant, everything's all good.
Uh-huh.
The other agent is like hyping up everything, saying like, yeah, the guys that were previously all here, it was like 5 guys that were sharing all 3 houses, but they kept everything in order. She was basically explaining so much about them. We walk
Yeah.
into the second house, and she
It's just trash.
she well, it was trashed, but then she opens the master bedroom, and like one of the guys is just like dead asleep. There's like
So literally
dead
what I
as-
just said.
dead asleep in the bed, like no sheets on, like bottles on the floor, empty, like chip
What?
bags, everything
Oh,
like that.
bro.
And she's like hyping up the guys as being like the best people, the best tenants. And we just walk into this bedroom and this guy's crashed.
They're just like smoking
Did she
crack in
not
there.
walk around the 3 houses before showing it?
No,
No, she got there late. We were waiting for her.
she's
Yeah,
like, this
yeah,
is the
yeah.
best spot.
What?
Yeah.
You're gonna have no complaints. They're doing like a ritual when you
Oh
walk
my
in.
gosh. That'd be
Oh,
so.
man.
What did he do?
No, it was
He's
really,
like, "I'll take it."
It was really funny. No, she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." And then he just kind of looks over and is like, "What's like?" He just mumbled something, and then she was like, "I'm doing a showing, but we just won't come in here." And she closed the door, and she's like, "I'm so sorry." And that was the last we saw of the guy.
Oh,
We just didn't walk in
man.
that room after that.
I would totally watch a real estate show like The Office. I would do it. I think that
Yeah.
would be
That
a great
would be
show.
interesting.
I mean, well, you just can't make things like The Office anymore. I mean, I know they're trying to do that spin-off. I just don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be. Like, I don't know. Like,
Well,
wait, have you guys like rewatched The Office in a long time?
oh
Like when you
yeah,
go and
I've seen
rewatch
The Office so many times.
Brandon
you
has
rewatch The Office?
memorized The Office.
Some of
That's why you're saying the CPR thing, and
Some
all
of
I'm
the-
thinking of is
dude,
Dwight
some
doing
of the
the
jokes
CPR.
they make just
Yeah.
would not fly anymore. I just don't.
The
feel
one that
like-
always goes into my head is the fire one when he pretends like there's a fire.
Oh, and gives like
Oh,
Stanley like a
man.
heart
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah. It's terrible. But, like,
Dude, I mean, they would
what?
like when they were like when he was talking about Oscar being gay, like the whole episode of Oscar being gay, like Michael's character the whole time. It's
the
just
whole show.
like you
Well,
couldn't.
No, you can't say those. You can't say that humor anymore without probably crossing the line. Well, that's why they interviewed Steve Carell and John Krasinski about being
John,
the
what? What's his last name?
I butchered it. You can
Oh,
correct me.
You should try that again.
Wait,
Correct.
what did you call the other guy in the previous episode?
Oh man.
I gave him like 3 different names.
No, Johnny Carson. I think Johnny Carson. I called him Jimmy Carlson. Or something.
It was
Johnny
two
and
different
Jimmy.
people blended into
yeah,
one.
yeah. Oh man.
What's the how do you
Krasinski.
say how do you say John's? Okay. Oh, I butchered it.
Yeah.
I butchered
and
it.
fun fact, he's the same guy that wrote and directed Quiet Place.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
He's been doing that a lot,
Yeah.
actually. Hasn't he been directing a lot of films?
Yeah, the new If
Yeah.
movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
gonna
And he
be
did
yeah.
one more, I thought. What was the
Oh,
other
did he?
one that you were talking about that he did?
well,
You
the
know,
Quiet
tripping.
Place too.
Well, no.
Ding.
Which- I don't know. You got to give me more context.
Oh, I don't know. It's a movie I probably wouldn't watch.
It's good you
But
guys
he
listen to
is.
each other.
Yeah, it's marriage.
That's good.
Woo.
Is that the animated film that you were
If.
just talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, a lot of
Yeah.
people are arguing that If is basically just a ripoff of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Wow.
the
I haven't
purple
heard
guy.
that name in a long time.
Blue.
I thought he was purple.
His name's Blue.
but you both are right though.
No, he's
You're
blue
not right.
and he's blue.
No, the
No,
poster's
he's
purple.
purple.
No, wait, are you talking about If, or are you talking about Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends? Now
No,
I'm getting
the-
confused.
Oh, you're talking about the Foster of Imaginary Friends
Oh,
guy.
I'm talking about
You're
If.
talking about
Okay,
the
so
purple
If
guy.
is purple. Okay, I'm glad we
Okay.
discussed
I've
this.
never watched the other one.
You've never seen
You've never
Foster's Home for
seen-
Imaginary
oh
Friends?
my
No.
god. Yeah.
You've never seen?
Now I must. I
Hey,
must
hey.
watch it.
After we finish this episode, we gotta show our
Oh,
clip.
dude,
We gotta show our
it's
clip.
so good. It's so good.
I haven't thought about that name in a long time, but
Yeah.
the point though is on that set. Also, John and Steve Carell, they had
Yeah,
a
yeah.
reunion on that set. Yeah, that was fantastic too. But they were originally asked if they would do another season of The Office, like continue the old one or be
Oh,
a part
Steve
of a
and
new
them?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they both said no because of the same thing, like where the generation is with the humor,
Oh man.
stuff like that. Because they don't mean anything wrong, but it's just now it's taken differently.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a part of me, all jokes aside, we were making like jokes about the getting canceled and stuff previously. I feel like it's dying down though. I don't know. To me it seems like it's starting to die down. I feel like when I'm on social media, I don't see it as much. I think like one thing that is really cool that I'm seeing a lot is, especially on social media, is there's so much more transparency between every single industry now that I feel like it doesn't matter if you're in the industry or not. You totally have a deeper understanding of what's going on everywhere. Like I was thinking about that a lot lately, and I think that's kind of helping close the door between getting canceled and like people feeling like elitist and people feeling like regular people, because I feel like, and what it even means to be like a regular person, first of all. But something I
We're all
found
regular
super
people.
interesting is like a lot of so many people that got canceled needed to be canceled. That's a big thing. But B, I feel like a lot of the people that got thrown off, half the reason they got thrown off is because there was just such this big divide between what it meant to be like celebrity and what it meant to live that lifestyle, and versus like what it meant to just be
A person.
a person,
Right,
just a
right.
human being,
Well,
right?
a brand rather than a person, I think, is what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
icon, a brand,
Yes.
something
Yeah.
that you're looking up to.
And now it's like, and they've shown it. It's the reason why Hollywood's kind of falling apart right now. Is TikTok and stuff has made it very clear, like, we love empowering regular ass people. We've closed off the divide. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like now artists and everyone are fighting to be, and even TV shows and stuff, to be relevant, because the like intrigue is still there of what celebrity and fame is from someone that doesn't live that lifestyle, but the gap has been closed
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
that I don't feel like there's this urge to throw people off the top anymore, because everyone's being held accountable at all times across all platforms. Like you can't, it doesn't matter who you are. Like you
Yeah.
really can't get past, you can't get past this sort of like, I don't know, you're not as special as you think you are anymore. Like having following isn't special because of your talent or because of what you do or because you're part of this network now. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, freaking Nick, who works at Wendy's, had a hilarious fucking joke, and now it turns out he's huge and
Yeah.
he's not working there anymore. And he's like, and it turns out he was actually
And
really funny. And
do you
now
think-
he has like,
You think that has something to do with them trying to shut down TikTok now?
okay, here's the thing with the shutting down of TikTok. I think,
Yeah.
look, I would never be a person to even claim like that I really understand the financials behind it and the money and who owns what and why people should own what. That's not my thing. I chose to be an actor, musician, not a mathematician or sales guy or anything. Like that's not my world. But just as like a person that uses everything and observes it, it has severely closed the gap. Like I was just
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Especially it's like I feel like that's why we're not also seeing the canceling stuff is more, because there's not a huge what's the word, like disparity. There's not a huge difference between like, there are some people now where again they can blow up from a funny video and now they are a certain level of celebrity and they're being paid by ads to like by companies to do this just as much as like, you know, a new movie coming out would want to push their stuff out. Like and so because of that, the divide between blowing up and fame has collapsed so much. So I could see that there is some secret inner workings in the back to be able to like, no, we want to separate regular people from the industry
to
again.
keep
I think
the
also-
control.
Yeah.
Everything
yeah.
it has an, you know, we talk about this many times, like an agenda for something. Like
Yeah.
we're riding a wave of something, you
Right.
know. And I think even going back to what you're saying. There's no differentiation. Is that the word?
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
even just think about people are now allowed to have conversation beyond just I like that. Like
Yeah.
they have the power to move
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
Well, it's,
and to make things happen. Like the people, not
Yeah.
just like the
More than ever,
machines.
I'd say.
Yeah.
More than ever.
Yeah, like
yeah.
like if I like somebody, I can push them and build a community to push them more than ever at this time. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like even the thing that happened back before with like Kendrick and Drake and
Yeah,
all
oh,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
people, like people have conversations. It's becoming
Right.
more about their livelihood and they're a part of something and discussing how
Yeah.
things are to be canceled or not canceled or what makes sense and what doesn't or what are my beliefs and what isn't.
Totally.
And,
yeah. It's something that's also changing the game rapidly. It's not like at a slow pace. I feel like all the bigger guys, the bigger corporations, those
Yeah.
guys, they're trying to figure out, okay, how can we keep this, and then how can we keep the peace on this end? God knows whatever that end is.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like, in the music world, Spotify changed the game for music because
Totally.
it brought, I think, was Spotify the first platform to bring like streams to the table?
One
Well-
of them that was partnered to build.
Yeah.
But that hit that like big, like it hit like top, right?
Yeah, I think at the very beginning it was like what, like Napster or something?
Yeah,
was
they-
like the idea of like streaming like a digital database for
Yeah.
music.
So then, but then all the labels had to figure out, okay, everyone's tapping into Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can we work hand in hand with Spotify?
Right. Unless you
You
were an
know?
avid LimeWire user.
Well, that's why I think Spotify
That's
was
why
was
it wasn't
made.
invented, right?
Yeah, because the labels were like, "How do we do this?" So they came to that's why the deal of it is so interesting.
Oh, you're totally right. Like I forgot like when you would use LimeWire, obviously you weren't paying for the albums. So I think you're totally right. I bet
Yeah.
these streaming companies were like, look, you're not making any money anyway. So how about we at least put it all in a database where we can pay you? Because like again, it's the people on top make the most money from that.
Right.
Like, so like we were talking about with a few podcasts back about like how Spotify pays and stuff like that. It's kind of insane because the gap again has closed so much. Like I was just talking to my friend about this. She's a fellow artist. She's killer, and like I this year has been super music focused, and I've been so excited about it. And by the time this comes out, my EP will be out. And
Wow.
yeah, I know,
Wow.
it's weird, I know, and it's like it's super exciting, and it's been like a completely different world. Because the last time I really put music out, I put like a single or two out, but the last time I really gave it a push like this was like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
like pre TikTok, pre all that, and now there's this weird world where TikTok during the pandemic, you really could put a song and it blew up like anyone. Now we're in this really weird limbo where it's like the TikTok thing isn't exactly blowing up songs at a rapid pace as like it used to. And then now also people are getting a little burnt out on like the songs that are just like, oh, great. So this is just like the one song you'll do to like, you're making music to get blown up. You're not making music to create a fan base anymore. You're making music to like pop off now.
Yeah, no story.
Right. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's this super interesting world we're in right now where like I'm trying to approach making content and wearing all the hats like we were talking about, where you're creating the music, you're also thinking of how you're going to shoot the stuff, you're also thinking about how you're going to put the content out there, what content works for you, what doesn't make you feel cringy, what does make you feel cringy.
Yep.
What are people drawn to about your music, what are people not drawn to about your music. And it's hard to when you're trying to approach it, I find it very difficult, and as I'm sure a bunch of artists do, of what thing to kind of tackle first. And I've also heard for friends that are signing up with labels and stuff these days that they're expecting more than ever a lot of the work for you to just do. Like,
Yeah.
and they're just kind of like, and we support you. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like you support, like, what's the point? If I'm doing all the work, why am I now doing all the work and then paying you got like it,
Yeah.
it's
I will say in any industry that has multiple like in an artist, like just as an artist actually. Let's think about this. My song from I don't know, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, my mom just texted me and said it got taken off her video. Now, I No, I'm not signed to a label. I'm an
Right,
independent
right.
artist. Okay. So that's part of my distribution. So if you think about
Mm.
it, thinking about as an artist, there's someone always controlling your art
Right.
because there's always a door you have to open or someone who has to be there in
Yeah.
order for anything to get heard.
Mhm.
And so it's an interesting thing because I'm sitting there like, well, distribution is something I pick.
Yeah.
And it's also my ownership. So why is my song being taken off a platform? But then also TikTok is building their own label. So then and then
They are?
yeah, they're in the process of building part.
Oh, and
I
then
don't
this
know if
thing happened.
I don't know if they're still in that
Right.
motion.
That's why they're
But
like, bro, we gotta shut that down.
Then think of
That would actually make a
Universal,
lot of sense.
you
That
know,
would be the
took off
people's label.
their
Sorry.
music, and so like all these different things and areas. Is someone always has your stuff in their hands, and so I think that's the issue
Mhm.
is that there's so many different things that you have to be attached to in order to get anything back.
Right.
Right.
Like
right.
that's just a fact.
like commission, like to make any money off of
You
it.
cannot even even think about publishing. If
Mhm.
I don't have someone collecting my publishing, I will never get my publishing.
Well, we talked about this, aren't there?
Yeah.
There's like
It's-
billions of dollars.
Or your
just-
IPI, like your pro. If you
Yeah.
don't
Could
have
you
a
explain
pro,
that? What an IPI is?
well, it's your royalties, and so it's the other side of. I should have bought my book of the music industry.
Yeah.
It's literally this thick of 2023.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
imagine like nowadays it's like that thick. And this is stuff you have to know in order to even get ahead in the music game.
Right.
And
right.
so, and it's constantly changing. That's another thing. And so that's, I think what we're going back as an artist or in entertainment industry is really at this time, no matter what you're doing, you have to make art.
But
Right.
and there's so many like intricate ways, like
make
in
art.
music,
Yes.
that you can receive royalties, payments, stuff like that you got to keep track of. And if you don't keep track of, it'll probably never get to you.
Well, also, you could have someone be collecting for you and they never give you the money.
See, that's what blew
Yeah.
my mind is when you were telling me that
Yeah.
like if you don't claim the residuals, like if you don't try to find them or try to make sure you claim it, they will just go to someone else or never
Yes.
go to anyone, right?
There's like a pool, I'm pretty sure. I forget the exact number, but someone was talking about it. It's like billions of dollars that has not been collected from
Wow.
these artists, writers, producers, different people in the industry. And it's because they don't know how. No one's trained them. Like, I don't know about you, but when I
Mhm.
started music, someone didn't sit me down. I don't even know if in music school you learn it because I've not been to music school.
Yeah, same.
But like, no one sits you down and says, these are the things you need. So every time I meet an artist, I'm like, please go get a pro. Whether
Right.
it's ASCAP, BMI, SoCan, wherever you're from, get a pro, get
Right.
a number because it's gonna be your identification number on tracking your work.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
Then if you have a song that's placed or put out, get publishing on it. You might make a cent,
And
but at least you have it.
placed for people
so-
that don't know is like getting a song on a
Yeah.
show or getting a song in a
Yeah.
commercial or something, right?
Or even another artist.
Okay,
So
okay,
let's
And I was
just
gonna
say-
ask what you meant by pro.
Yeah.
Pro, it's your I forget even the terminology of what it means, the PRO. It's just your identification number for your royalties.
Okay.
So they collect
Okay.
your royalties
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
Um
Yeah.
and
makes sense.
So that's where it's registered. Your song is registered on a pro.
Got it.
Mhm.
Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's how they keep track of your catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Which your catalog as an artist or a writer is your money. That's why
Mhm,
with
mhm.
publishing, they want to own your catalog because they want it. Let's just say your deal is 3 years. They sometimes have clauses in there that they're going to own that song though for 18 years or 20 years.
Oh, right.
so that
right.
they can so that they have it in their catalog.
And
Does
I
that make
just
sense?
and I just recently learned too that if you take you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you take advances upon signing on a deal,
Uh-huh.
and let's say, I don't know, let's just say 2-year term, whatever, and you just took, I guess, like a pretty large advance, and you didn't
Make
end
any
up-
money?
You didn't end up paying it back, even though your deal expired. They're still going to keep. They're still fully obligated to take percentages out of your payouts in the future, even if you're not with them, until you give back. Until you give back the advance plus the interest on whatever you signed.
Well, see, that's what I find so crazy about labels is in theory they're just loans.
Oh,
Yes.
the
They're
worst-
just
Yeah.
It's
banks.
actually
Yeah.
terrible loans.
Yeah,
too.
like
Yes.
like it's like you're almost better off
with high interest rates.
trying to
interest
go to a
rates.
bank and get like a small business loan or something.
That's what Kirsten said
Well,
the
dude,
other day.
I
yeah.
didn't realize in the beginning. I didn't like. I always thought, oh, you signed with a label and they pay you because you're dope and they like you, so they're giving you
So they're
money
just
to
gifting you money.
get you on your
Gifting
feet.
you.
Well, no, No, I thought it was like when you sign on with a company and they give you a sign-on bonus. They're
Yeah.
like, we really wanted
Yeah.
you in this position.
it's-
Here's, you
It's
know,
the only job that doesn't pay you.
yeah. Well, yeah.
You
I
pay
mean,
it.
Yeah, I mean, like most industry standard things, I feel like that's typically like I still don't know, and I've been so lucky to have amazing work and great pay and everything. I still don't know if what I've put in since I was a kid in this industry, if I've broke even yet.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
still like that's the only thing. It's so interesting going after these professions. Like it's a scary thing going after these professions knowing like, oh, it could not work.
Yeah.
It could have zero return.
But I
And then
will
you
say-
have to try to carry yourself from
Like
going
it's
down
going
that
to,
deep
yeah.
hole.
Well,
of
we've talked
thought.
about
You have to
that.
want
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
have to want it, or
Well,
else
see,
it will
I
not
don't-
be worth it.
See, I don't. I do feel like that's a message that is put out there, but contextually, I understand why people get pissed about it because I know plenty of people that want it really badly.
Yes.
Want it really badly. I, will do anything, have done anything, and it still hasn't happened. For some people, it never happens. So it's like, I don't want to discourage people, but I also, I know plenty of people that want it and they do everything and they
Look,
still
I will-
haven't had that,
yeah,
break.
but
It's
also
like-
there's a thing because it's depending on what you want. If you want to do art for a living, that's great. You
Right.
can get business and relationships. If you want to be, there are ways to get what you want. Okay, but the
Yeah.
thing is like so. What I mean, when you want it, is that your persistence is you might do this for the rest of your life and never make it. How
Okay.
much do you want it?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're never promised
Right.
something
yeah.
coming out of something, but if you're gonna put your life into it, you put your life into
We
it.
got to think
And
about
specifying what
yeah.
you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to think about exactly. You really got to want it because you can really want something and then go get a regular job to kind of carry you. But if you get comfortable here and never pursue this, it's still never gonna happen.
Yes.
So you really got to push through that boundary line if you
Yeah.
really
Well, maybe not
want it.
never gonna happen. I won't say that, but there's your focus. Again, we
Right.
can go back to
Yeah,
this on
yeah,
every episode. What are you focused on? That's what you're putting into
You
the
know,
most. It
it's-
sucks when you can't fully do it.
It's funny
Yeah.
we're talking about this right now because I thought about this morning. I had a pretty interesting conversation this morning,
Oh yeah.
and I was just thinking
Like through work.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was just thinking bro, entrepreneurship. I was like,
Oh.
those people that chase the path of entrepreneurship truly bust their ass
Oh, yeah.
every day, day and night. We got to think the three of us, we're all our own brands.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's I give grace for everyone trying to build a business in whatever industry you're doing it in because at the end of the day, you're busting your ass and you could make no money or little to no money at the very beginning. And you will probably get so frustrated so many times at the beginning, not knowing,
Mm-hmm.
where this journey is going to take you. So it's
Yeah.
anyone chasing that is just I applaud you guys.
Well, dude, what's funny? It's funny you were saying that too because I was having a conversation with the lady recently, as I do, and
it's
we
important,
were,
Jake, having
Huh?
conversations with your lady.
yeah, always, and we were talking about a big thing is we always see the finished product on social media.
Yes.
Anyone we're looking towards, or
Yeah.
idolizing, we always see the end
Right,
result,
right,
So
right.
that's why we have that reoccurring pathway, that
Well, no,
neural connection that goes
Mhm.
well, I'm doing what they're doing, and I haven't gotten to this result yet, or so maybe I'm not working hard enough, or maybe I'm not. It's also. One thing even I still till this day have to sit down and remember, dude, they've been doing this for years, da 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 da. It's like, dude, you have to remind yourself that this is the finished product. This is the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
result
yeah,
of
yeah.
everything they've been doing for so long. And and when it comes down to anything, my favorite thing, find an actor, for example, an actor, this is a huge thing that helped me as an actor. Find an actor you absolutely idolize, someone you are in love with, and go back and look at their first credit and look at the years between their next credit. And then think of when you really started to know who they were and really started to cherish their work. And then think about when you ever have that moment you're watching an actor, you're like, oh, they were in that movie.
Yeah.
I saw them. You didn't care though.
Yeah.
Like you didn't care. And not to say you didn't care like, oh, screw that person. You just didn't, they were not in your world of something that mattered, right?
Right.
And then you saw them again, and you start going back, you're like, oh, there they are, there they are, there they are. It's like that really helped. That helped me so much to see like someone I'm obsessed with, Ryan Gosling. I think he's the man. I think he's a fantastic actor.
Canadian.
Love the way he holds himself. Love the way he talks about and treats his family. I love the guy. And he was a big one of those where I just felt like, man, I feel like I've just known him forever. I feel like he just blew up. You know what I mean? But then I went back and looked, and it's like the dude's been going and
He's been grinding.
etching away,
Yeah.
grinding. And that has helped me so much. And then Music World.
Yeah.
One thing I love to do in Music World, discography, if they haven't deleted it, because sometimes they like to delete for the brand, is look at like an album, you're like, this is blown up, this is huge. Then scroll and scroll and scroll and look at the year they put their first song. Listen
Yeah.
to their
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
song compared to their last song.
Yeah.
Look at the people they worked with. Look at like all the hits and misses. Like look at like
It's
the
that-
3 EPs.
It's that consistency, bro.
Dude,
it's
the 3 EPs
consistency
no one
of the
listened
grinding.
to. Yeah.
It's
like-
like every successful person started at some point.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I think going back to it too, though, which is funny, is that
Mm.
you're talking about the guy who got famous on Jury Duty, or the guy Kyle at Wendy's.
Yeah, yeah,
who,
yeah.
You know, got famous for a joke.
Yeah.
Is I think when the separation, and I will say this in a good way, is the
Mhm.
heart of it,
Mhm.
because someone's had to give up a lot of things
Right.
to gain
right.
a lot of things when it's their profession.
Right. Right.
When it's someone who got lucky and gifted in that moment, they have a big opportunity to take that and be persistent
Right.
and run and work with it. And I think no matter if your beginnings here or here,
Mhm.
it's still the same amount of work to keep it long.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also when I think they've always had that rule of thumb, right? Is however long it took you to get there is probably however long you'll stay on top.
Yeah.
You know, I've always heard that too.
Well,
It's like if it
how
took
you
you,
Well,
hold
you
yourself.
gotta keep the same
Yeah,
momentum, the same energy.
well, and then also there's a certain fear I will never have the understanding of what it's like to blow up immediately
Yeah.
and not be prepared for that. And I'm sure there are pressures we don't
we can't
take
think
into
about.
we
Yeah,
can't
right,
even
right.
conceptualize.
We were probably not prepared for it.
That because I think now it's like I used to think I want like I would love to have this immediately, or I'd love to or I'd love to
I
have
was
this,
doing the
and then
same
like
thing.
now I'm like, oh man, I am so glad. Like I don't think I could have had the National Treasure experience and handled it the way I did, or
Yeah.
the way I was capable of doing, had I gotten it earlier in my career as compared to when the younger version of me wanted an experience like that.
Yeah.
And then as a adult, I feel like I was able to handle it better than had I not gotten it. And it's like, oh, whoa, if you just blew up right into it, like there's so many things I didn't take into account of what
Mhm.
that could have been like and how hard it could have been. And,
I feel like in the acting world though, like I would say probably like let's say like 10 years ago maybe. Like if you were like a Disney star, like a Disney kid,
right.
you were like destined to blow up.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like 10 years ago,
Oh.
10 years ago, like they
well, even
would
the Mickey
take
Mouse Club.
they would
Yeah.
like back then
Most
if
people
you
came
if you
from
were
there, right?
successful in Disney,
Yeah.
you were going all the way up.
But also, you could argue, depending on what your trajectory was, where you wanted to go if you were going
Mhm.
all the way
Yes.
up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I think that's a different thing. I think you were going all the way up, but you had very specific routes people would
pick.
allow you to be
take, yeah,
successful
yeah.
in. Which is the truth, and that's what today's media is the people allow people to be successful in what, like, you could
Yeah.
say to yourself, oh, I want to be this, but if the world doesn't see you as that, it's like you're kind of
Sure.
that's
You're fighting
the thing.
against it.
You're
Sure, yeah.
susceptible to a certain, like, when you're famous, you're susceptible to how the world views your context of fame.
Mhm.
Like, you might want to be famous for being like a dramatic actor or be famous for being this type of singer, but the world's
Mhm.
like, no, you're famous because of this.
Mhm.
And I mean, until you show us a reason otherwise, this is how we're gonna find you famous. Sorry.
yeah.
It's like, and then that's why people get sometimes hated on, because they're like, well, I don't want to be that anymore. It's like, well, this is how we know you as. So,
Yeah.
don't make the people feel bad for how we view you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's
And
kind of
that,
like a friend. If your friend changes the next day, you're gonna be like, "Whoa,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know you."
And yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
and that was like the Disney thing. It's like, you're right. It was a guaranteed, almost lifetime of success. But you saw how it destroyed so many people too,
Right,
because
right.
they wanted to go into a route, and when the world that made you is also the world that like tells you what you are and what you aren't,
Yeah.
it crippled some of these people because they're just like, well, no, I want to be taken serious as that. It's like, no, you're that. Like that's how we know you, and that's what you're gonna be. And it's like
Right.
you could either be like, okay, well, I rest my laurels. This is what I have, or it would destroy you. And now more than ever, I feel like that Disney effect has become what the TikTok effect is, or what the
Yeah.
what the social media effect is.
Mhm.
It's like if you established yourself as one thing, and that's what blew you up. Good luck getting out of it, which makes me almost want to circle back to like content stuff real
Yes,
quick, right?
me too. Because I
Okay,
actually
go.
wanted to do. I want before we stop this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do practical things that have worked for us in our content.
Yes.
I really
yeah.
and I liked what you were talking about too. And you can circle back to the content before we go into that. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
we should end this episode in these are practical ways at which no matter what sphere of influence you're doing have helped in our content game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say number one is you have to get rid of the fear of trying stuff.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
number
yeah.
one. It's like here's the thing.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Like you could be like, I'm not the type of person to record myself singing to my song. Fine.
Mhm.
All right. But at least try it and
Mhm.
confirm your beliefs, if anything. It's like, or I'm not the type of person to like Benson Boone, for example. His song blew up, well, A, because he'd put a lot of hard work into it, but because he was sending his ass straight into his phone right before the bridge of that song blew up every time. And
Yeah.
he did that like 300 times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and look, you could argue it's like, well, that's not what I do. It's like, fine, you don't have to do that, but you try these things to find your thing. And you
Yes.
might be surprised at what you're really good at. It's like, let's say, one day, like you don't like talking to your phone in your car. Okay. Just set your phone up and do it like it's not going anywhere. Like you're not sending it to anyone.
Yeah.
And then rewatch it.
Yeah.
There might be a moment or two you're like, actually, I like that bit or whatever. You're singing it like there's so many things. It's like you have to be willing to try everything, because it's also if you don't. And this is a hard reality. It was a hard reality for me. If you don't want to do stuff to put your song out there and you're not willing to try everything, there's someone else that is.
Yes.
Yes.
And their song's going to get out there because they don't care.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well,
And
not
they'll like that's a harsh reality. It's like it's like oh cool, you can sit there and be cool and not be cringe and not or do what you deem cringe and do all your stuff. And you're just making it that much harder for your music to be found. It's like you have to. What is the end goal? And I'm not saying sell yourself. I'm not saying like
Well,
if-
just have a vision.
yeah.
Number one, have a vision and be willing to try it.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Number
be willing
two,
to try
you know-
goes hand in hand with. I think it's don't worry about what people are gonna think of you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
be
I think it's
yourself.
more
Which is
about-
easier said than done.
Yeah.
But
yeah, of course.
Also, I think in
But-
that, like, I've talked to a lot of creatives who come to me because of things that my family and me have operated out of, and the amount of times that I've had to do things I don't want to do
Mhm.
and don't feel comfortable doing. And a lot of times it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And I don't know if this works. And it's like, no, here's the thing. If you want it, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two is be prepared with things that take your audience off, that you can collect data from your audience if the platforms go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Number two, that's a very important thing. Make an email list, have a website,
Mhm.
engage with your people to put them on different, a Discord, a public community,
Mhm.
something that you're engaging with people outside of the platform, because the platform is there on purpose. I love the platforms to
Mhm.
build and to create, but also you need your EPK, your media kit, your
Mhm.
catalog, your website, things that are worth value, and your resources, your whatever they're
Mhm.
called,
Mhm.
for longevity. Okay. I feel like that's number two. A lot of the time, no one told me that I could build an email list.
Yeah.
No one
Mhm.
told me that I was able to hone in on my super fans and take them over to another thing to help me build and raise money and funds for my projects.
Mhm.
No
Mhm.
one tells you those things. So those are very important. No one told me to make sure I had a website or an EBK that has links to different people. The UGCs for collaborations and branding. There's tons of different things there. So do your
Mhm.
research.
Mhm.
Yeah. Invest in yourself.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
like that's a huge one. I think ads and stuff like that get a dirty
No, they're important.
like, but ads are super important. What really blew
how did you buy your clothing that you're wearing
yeah,
now?
but also
I
that
was gonna
that was
say
like such a huge thing.
the ads work for me like tremendously.
Well, yeah,
So-
ads are super important, regardless of and what people get afraid of is they're like, oh, well, it really is not like it used to be way back in the day where it's like, oh, you bought your followers. It's like, yeah, you like that stuff. No, ads are important because there are analytics there that help get your music to someone who would have never seen it or help get
Right,
your work
right.
to someone who have never seen it. They're a lot better than they used to. And it's literally investing in yourself. It's like, oh, I wouldn't buy, it's like when people are like, oh, I wouldn't buy ads. It's like, that's selling out. It's like, bro, every billboard in Times Square, then that means every company's selling out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like ads are that's basically what a label is. A label is like a company that has enough money to pay for ads for you. Like when you get
Every
informed
business does
about
ads, yeah.
tickets of your favorite artist, how do you think you got informed? It's like, yeah, you follow them, sure, but how do you think you got informed? All right?
The ads.
Ads. Everything is ads. Everything is an algorithm based. Like so much of what we love and do today and what we're inspired by is through an algorithm. How do you
Right.
think you found some of your favorite artists? Like when you're on like a Pandora radio or back in the day, or when you're on Spotify and it's like artists like this artist. It's like there are certain ads that push certain artists for you to be found and stuff. It's like the ad game is investing in yourself. And
Also, just FYI, it's not going anywhere.
yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
use the tools that they're using.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
investing in yourself in other ways too. It's like I'm a firm believer, especially as a musician, the one piece of
Yeah.
advice I feel like I would tell everyone is learn an instrument. Like
Yeah.
learn that changed my life is learn an instrument. And there's so many free courses and YouTube has so much amazing knowledge. Like learn an instrument and something I'm doing these days that have really helped the songwriting is ask yourself why you like a song. Don't just be passive in your learning. Like, don't just when you listen to music, really listen and figure out, like, what I like to do nowadays is pull up the chord chart and see why they chose those chords and why those chords are related to each other. And it's
But
like,
I think to make this into the spectrum of like real estate and flowers and music, do your research in your what is it called? Your practice.
in your craft.
In your craft.
Yeah.
Do your research. So we have, what was the first one again? Try. Don't hide your stuff away. Post it. Do it. Mark it. Okay. Make sure that you're equipped to take everything outside of a platform that you've engaged a lot of time into. If you're a real estate agent, there are many practical ways that you can build up they have point systems for the houses and things
Yeah.
that you've sold or that you are the seller or buyer's agent
Yeah.
of.
Credits.
Credits.
Yeah.
There, allow yourself to build credits, repertoire. Invest in yourself. Very important. No matter what, you have to do ads. Use the tools that are in your hands. Very practical.
It's a good summary. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 4, I would say, is don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's a big one.
Because as
That's
someone,
changed my life.
It's changed my life. Like today,
Yeah.
Well, it's like your
I had
network
someone-
is your net worth.
Yeah,
you
I had
know?
someone tell me go and write down who you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good point, because I know a lot of amazing people.
yeah.
Amazing people that would probably want to do amazing things with me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that we should have a 5th one. What should that one be?
A 5th one?
Yeah, because 5 is grace, bro. Like, what's a 5th one?
So then here we go. Try
Try.
anything and everything if you believe in it.
Okay, well, maybe just don't be afraid to put out what you've built.
Okay, that's
I would
okay.
say that's better.
Okay,
like
all right.
if you've created something, you want something, you have to let people see it.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
And then second one is make sure that you're prepared with the because nowadays we live on platforms.
Right.
You're right.
Build an email list, have your EPK, have your point systems, have the things
Build that
you-
pipeline.
Yeah,
Okay.
build it up.
Okay.
The third one
Push,
was
prepare,
and what was the third one we did?
push,
again?
prepare, and then
Why am I
tripping? We're killing this.
This is fantastic,
Push,
guys.
prepare, invest.
Oh, invest.
Oh yeah,
Invest in
invest
You
in
wanted to do
yourself.
5, all right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Invest in yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
The
Fourth is
collaborate.
Collaborate.
And then the 5th I would say is
The 5th. Okay, the 5th one, I would definitely say is just don't quit.
yeah.
Like that. Like
We're on the
true-
same. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
on the same
the
channel.
the
Don't be-
fifth
don't
is-
be hard on yourself
is-
either.
have
is
grace
not-
on yourself.
Yeah.
is basically not quitting. It's like even the days you put 1% towards the thing you want to do, You're
Right.
getting better. It's the days you just like completely give up on it. That then you're not going to make any progress. I think don't quitting is probably
don't
the
quit
biggest
or
one.
research, because I like the way that you were saying research your craft.
Yeah,
Research the people that are in your sphere of influence and
yeah,
do-
that's
do your
good.
due diligence.
It's like don't quit and also do the things that will help you not quit, like researching people for inspiration
Exactly.
and stuff like
Yeah.
Awesome.
that. We did it. We did it. We got
Yeah.
5.
We can put them on the screen.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. No, I think those are good rules of thumbs though. Good rules. Can you say thumbs if you've plural rules of thumbs?
I don't know. I've never even said that.
Rules
before.
of thumbs.
I think
The rule of thumb?
that's a good way to go
Rules
about
of
it though.
thumbs.
Yeah.
But
I think we did. I think
no,
we did good.
No, that was we nailed that. Yeah, I think the
No, we nailed
5
that.
I think the 5 that we just came up with, we
Yeah.
got a little speed bump remembering
Yeah,
them, but
yeah,
the
yeah.
5 points were great points.
Yeah, we nailed that.
I think those are good foundations to build a successful career in
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
there will be hard days, there will be great days, but on the hard days, you got to push. Even like what you were just saying,
Mhm.
one thing that gets you closer to your goal every day is one step in the right direction.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. We'll end this with Brandon's wisdom.
Okay.
Stay busy, guys.
Or
We love
stay
you, busy
busy, babies.
babies.
Stay busy.
Love you guys.